Dear students, today we are going to discuss the poem on Killing a Tree composed by G. Patel. This poem clearly conveys the message against deforestation. G. Patel was a medical practitioner. So, his poem is always compared with the living beings, especially with the human. He compares the things with the skin, with the flesh, with the blood of human. Before we start the poem, we should discuss about the poet. G. Patel, actually, he was an Indian Parsi poet who was not only a poet, a playwright, a painter and a renowned medical practitioner. He submitted himself to advocate the message to protect the nature. His poem speaks of the cruelty of human nature and it emphasizes the importance of protecting our mother nature. In this poem, the poet has applied the reverse psychology. Now you will ask me, what is a reverse psychology? Reverse psychology is a kind of psychology which we apply to a person to make him stop from doing some wrong things. Like you want to make your friend stop from some wrongdoing. You can straightly tell him, don't do it. Or you can tell him in a very other way. Like your friend rides a bike at a very high speed. You want to make him stop from this high speed of bike riding. You can say him, don't ride your bike at a very high speed. It will affect him definitely. But if you're telling him like that, yes, you ride the bike at a very high speed, it looks very smart and you have a great impression on your friends, on your relatives, on your society, and even in the society. Though it can hurt you, it can injure you, even it can ampute your legs, your hands like that, because it may happen an accident to you. Not only that, your family may suffer for that high bike speed riding. But what goes? You look very impressive, you have a very good impression on your friends, on your relatives, on your parents and everyone. So keep it up. It doesn't matter whether you die, whether your family suffers, whether your legs or hands are amputated. It doesn't matter. You can continue with the bike riding at a high speed. So it will also affect on your friend's mind. Yes, it may happen to me also. So I must stop from high speed bike riding. So here in this poem, the poet also applied the same kind of psychology. Like here, he is telling us, he is not forbidding us for cutting the tree. Rather, he is telling the steps what to do for cutting the tree. Now, let us see the poem. It takes much time to kill a tree. Not a simple jab on the knife will do it. It has grown slowly, consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon the crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water, and out of its leprous hide sprouting leaves. So in the first line, The poet conveys that to cut a tree, it takes much time. It is very time consuming. It is not so easy that you will just go and you will have a jab of knife and it will die. As it happens in the cases of human being. Actually, in this poem, the poet sensitizes. Not only that, he highlights the fact that trees are equal to human being. But as in the case, the human beings dies just on the hack, just on the jab of a knife, but the trees does not dies like that. He uses the word kills in place of cut because he tries to equate the human being with the trees. Not a simple jab of the knife will do it. It has grown slowly consuming the earth, rising out of it, feeding upon the crust, absorbing years of sunlight, air, water. So what does the poet want to say? He wants to say that it is not very easy to kill the tree because the tree is having an immense vitality, because from the form of a seed it has grown to a full-grown tree and it has consumed all the nutrients from the earth. Earth has nurtured the tree. And not only that, it has that much potential that it has come out from the crust. What is a crust? The hard layer of the soil. It has such potential that it has absorbed all the minerals, all the resources from the earth and just come out from the earth, the hard layer of soil. And after coming out, it is nurtured by the earth's air, water, sunlight and everything earth has provided to make it grow as a full-grown tree. So it will be not easy for you to cut a tree with a simple jab, with a simple strike of a knife. And out of its leprous hide, sprouting leaves. What is a leprous hide? The bark, which apparently looks very ugly. It looks like a skin of a leper, a patient who is suffering from leprosy. It looks very bad, it looks very ugly, it looks like brown and very, wrinkled, but this is the source of all newborn leaves. These having immense vital power to give a birth of new leaves. So hack and chop, but these alone won't do it. Not so much pain will do it. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will rise curled green twigs, miniature boughs, which if unchecked will expand again to former size. So the next step what? Hack and chop. You just cut the tree into pieces. But it will also not do alone, because the bleeding bark. What is a bleeding bark? When you are cutting out tree, sap comes out, a white kind of fluid comes out of the bark, and that will heal in the passage of time. And if you are not observing the tree will again grow up in its former size. Okay. Miniature boughs, the small tiny branches will again come out from the part which you have cut very close to the ground. No, the root is to be pulled out of the anchoring earth. It is to be roped, tied and pulled out, snapped out. Now here the poet conveys the height of the cruelty, the brutality of human nature. Just imagine a child who is just cuddling with its parents, and you are just snatching out the child from his parents to torture him. Just like that, the Mother Earth has nurtured. She is the parents of this tree, and you have to pull it out. You have to snatch it out. You have to snatch. That is, you have to take it forcefully out from the ground. Okay, so just imagine the human cruelty, how cruel human can be for cutting a tree, or pulled out entirely out from the earth cave. Now here, what is earth cave? The earth cave is the mother's womb, where an unborn child lies very safely. Now what you are doing? You are just pulling out the unborn child from the mother's womb. You are snatching it, you are destroying it. And just like that, you are also pulling out the tree from the earth's cave, where it has been hidden for so long, and the strength of the tree exposed. Now the original strength, the main strength of the tree comes out. So previously we have seen the tree, the stems, the boughs, the leaves, the fruits, the flowers, but they are not the particular strength of this tree. The main strength hides in the root. The source, weight and weight. What is that? What is the strength? The weight and weight sap, the fluid that comes out from the root after cutting. The most sensitive, hidden for years inside the earth. So, what is the main source? What is the origin of the source? That is the white weight sap, the root that was hidden for many years under the earth. Suppose a tree is 40 years old and you just cutting the tree. What happens? The roots which were hidden under the earth for 40 years, last 40 years, it comes out. It is uprooted. So till you are not uprooting a tree properly, your cutting of tree goes to in vain. So if you want to destroy a tree, you want to kill a tree, you have to uproot it from the root. Then the matter of scorching and choking in sun and air, browning, hardening, twisting, withering, and then it is done. Now, the final step of killing the tree is completed. Because when you are taking out the roots from the earth, it gets scorched, it gets dried under the sun. The roots that were hidden very safely under the earth, now it gets withered. It turns into brown color because they are dried up. And finally, the tree is dead. So here we can see the comparison of a tree with a human being, and the poet, as he is discussing about the deforestation, he is also discussing about the violent nature of human. Now we will discuss the literary devices used in the poem. For discussing the literary device, first of all we should look through the poem. There is no particular rhyme scheme used in the poem. The poem is written in a free verse style. The most important literary device that has been used in this poem is enjambment. You know what is enjambment? Enjambment is the continuation of a sentence with into 3 consecutive lines in the poem. Now here we can see in the first stanza, not a simple jab of the knife will do it. So here the knife के बाद से भी ये sentence continue हो रहा है third line तक. Here is one example of enjambment. Second example, rise out of it, feeding the apple its crust, absorbing. Now here also the line is continued from the fifth line to sixth line. Now here is a metaphor in this stanza. What is that? Leprous height. You know what is a metaphor? Metaphor is a comparison between two different objects indirectly. It is an indirect comparison. Here, leprous height, the bark of the trees are compared to a skin of a leprous patient. A patient who is suffering from leprosy, a leper. Now come to the second stanza. Here is alliteration. Alliteration, bleeding bark. Alliteration, you know, there is the same sound or consonant sound is repeated in consecutive two words like bleeding bark, ba, ba. Here also you will see the example of enjambment. The bleeding bark will heal, and from close to the ground will the curled great twigs. Okay, great twigs. Here also the three lines are consecutively repeated. Now comes to the next one. In the third stanza, there is a repetition. The poet gives a repetition to emphasize on some word. Here is pulled out quite 2 or 3 times. It has been repeated to emphasize that it has to be pulled out entirely. The roots have to be pulled out entirely under the earth. Now here in the fourth stanza, you can see another example of alliteration, white and weight. In the fourth line, the source, white and weight. W sound is repeated. So this was all the discussion of this poem on killing a tree. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching the video.